Hi, my name is Kerri O'Donnell and welcome to That Scam Show. We are live and it's pretty exciting. I just want to talk today a little bit about what my plans are for this channel and what you can expect to see here. I hope to upload videos every Saturday at 11 o'clock. So this same time, every single week, there should be a new video. And hopefully in future I'll use better audio. I have to stick with this silly thing today because the fancy microphone I bought is acoustically unsuited to this room that I happen to be in today. So I hope that you can hear me okay. Please send me a comment, let me know whether or not you can actually hear me, because that would be really good. So what I'm hoping to do is also talk about the actual kinds of topics that I want to talk about. So first of all, I want to talk about the various types of scams that I and other people like me might encounter on an ordinary day-to-day basis. So things that we will encounter while we look at our emails, while we're on social media, while we're doing searches on the internet. If I look over at this side, that's because I'm looking at the live stream. And just when we're taking phone calls or text messages and things like that. Over the past year, I have heard stories from so many people about so many problems that they have had being caught up with scammers just through those day-to-day ordinary activities. We're just going about our ordinary lives. And personally, I've also been targeted probably hundreds of times in the last couple of years. And predominantly they are phishing scams for me and also attempted romance scams. So I could probably make content just about the things that have happened to me. Like, I have not been scammed, but the amount of times that I've been targeted in recent years, there's a lot of material right there. So I want to talk about the types of scams we get, how they work, and what we can do to protect ourselves from them. And there are some really simple tricks that we can put into place, but we need to start the conversation about what's going on in order to realize that what we can do about them is really quite often quite simple. We just need to get some of those tips and tricks into place. So I want to keep the content all really practical and useful for us to use on a day-to-day basis, and to just make it so that it's not onerous for us to do. It's not anything difficult for us to put into practice. And that's the whole point. I wanted to start this channel because it makes me mad that there are so many people trying to scam us, right? And sometimes those scams might just be bad business practices, businesses that are just sending us dodgy emails and using practices that are not necessarily easily distinguishable from scams. And as the scammers use more and more techniques to try to target us, it becomes difficult to draw the line between what's legitimate and what's not. So the distinction gets blurred. Businesses will need to respond to that, and some businesses are changing their practices in response to that. So for example, a really simple example is that when we go to buy things in shops using our credit card, the cashiers no longer take the cards from us in order to process them, or at least they shouldn't, because we should never be handing over our credit card. And that is in response to skimming scams, right? So the practices change. What we do needs to change, and what businesses that we engage with do also needs to change, whether it be in a shop or by email or text messages or any other kind of marketing engagement that we have with them. So the most important thing is that we should be able to go about our daily lives without being affected by this, and there should be some simple things that we can do. So what I have noticed over the years is that I've just got a message to say that the audio is working out. Thank you. yes, I know it's not perfect, but thank goodness to have got rid of all of that background noise. We have some machinery in the background which is creating a lot of white noise, so I've had some challenges in the last couple of days trying to sort that out. So what I was trying to say is that I found that there is a way that we can address these problems, because every time I have tried to talk about scams since about 2005, I have noticed that other people don't really want to talk about it. And this means that there's a lot of information that the scammers have that we don't want to acknowledge, and that helps them to get away with what they get away with. All right, so we can actually start to address the problem just by talking about it more often. I was concerned to start with that this channel might not be very successful because nobody wants to really talk about the topic, right? It's an unpleasant topic. So I'm going to try to find ways to make it as pleasant as possible. And you can help me, right? So you give me your feedback and tell me about the types of things that you'd like me to do to mix it up, make it a bit more engaging and so on. Because I'm a beginner at this YouTube thing, right? This is my first video, and hopefully they're going to improve a lot over the coming weeks and months. So please do let me know what you would like to see on this channel, what types of scams that you would like me to talk about, and the ones that annoy you the most that I can prioritize, and we can start to tackle those first. So that's the key, though, is bringing out these scams into the open reduces the risk that we would be pulled into them, and that it increases the probability that we will recognize them when we encounter them. So that's why this channel has the tagline "Shedding Light on Scams." So yay, we've got people watching. And I've also collected some questions that I've been asked on offline. And one of them that I get asked most often is, have you been scammed? Meaning me. So no, I haven't, but lots and lots of people have tried to scam me, particularly in the last 2 years, and particularly by social media, an email, and a few text messages. Another thing that somebody that didn't really ask me, but one of my friends said that what you guys will want to know is basically, who am I to be offering advice? So, excuse me, dry throat from being on YouTube Live for the very first time. So I think that's a very good question, because it reminds me of a quote by Michael Shermer, who started off the Skeptic Society. And I remember in perhaps 2005, 2006, I saw an interview with him, and somebody asked him, why should we believe you? Because he was talking about fake news and false information, and basically how we could start to think more critically about information which is false. And he said, well, you shouldn't believe me. You should do your research and make up your own mind. And I thought that was awesome. I thought that was really transparent, honest, and basically it's the truth, right? We are trusting individuals. We are hopefully compassionate individuals, and those are the two human traits that make us valuable in society, right? They are evolutionary bonuses to be a trusting and compassionate person, because it means that we work well with others, and that's what we need to do in our current society or social environments. But those are the two traits that make us most vulnerable to scams. And those are the traits that scammers really target in on, and they will use, sometimes the good ones will use some quite sophisticated psychological approaches in order to zero in on those traits and encourage us to be victimized, right? So don't ever be afraid of feeling like a fool or feeling like you're stupid, which is a word I hear a lot about from people who have been scammed, that they feel like an idiot. It's not about that, right? Being scammed has got no direct correlation with intelligence, but it does have a direct correlation with trust and compassion. So don't stop being trusting and compassionate person. But what I want us to do is to start being more savvy in the way that we engage with new people and new information so that they are less able to take advantage of those best human traits. So hopefully we'll be able to sort that balance out. But anyway, back to who I am. Well, I've linked my personal profiles to the YouTube channel, and so you can have a look at those and you can decide whether or not you think that I am a worthy person of engaging with. I will do my best to provide you with the source information of everything that I use to inform all of the videos that I make. And also, I will put those sources or links to those sources on the website at thatscamshow.com so that you can go and have a look at those. So most of the time, they will be links to the original place that they are hosted on the internet. So I won't be reproducing them. And that's a copyright thing, but it's also a respect thing. Like, I don't need to retain you on my website, but I can be a place to refer you to where I found the actual information, the same place. So I have been learning and researching about fraud since 2005. And my research is about skills that we all use to recognize fake or false and misleading information. So initially that was in a corporate environment, and then over time I became more interested in the individuals who are targeted by scammers than by the effects on corporations and the shareholders, because there are already mechanisms in place to protect those and that they can use to analyse the risks. But individuals have less protection and they have less education about what they can do to acknowledge their risks and then analyse the risks. And the skills that I learned about, I wasn't born with, but which I learned about through my education and through my research, are the reason that I have not been scammed. Right, I started off extremely naive and quite gullible up until I was maybe 30, 35, I don't know. But it was in those days, I was lucky and that did not cause me any harm. And I enjoyed that part of my life. But I did learn a lot of skills, and that is what I learned is why I have not been scammed for sure, right? On this channel, I want to share with you how I use those skills, and so you can use them to protect yourself and the people that you care about. So the first step towards that is to start on the scam topic conversations and start getting the information out there about what goes on and how scammers try to pull that off. And then we will reveal over time more and more about the types of skills that you can implement. So for each video, I want to do in a 3-step kind of process. So there will be what the scam is, what it looks like, also how it works, like what the MO is basically, and well, usually anyway. And the 3rd step is what you can do to protect yourself from that. So those skills should be adaptable to different situations, not necessarily specific to one type of email scam, right? So every type of email scam we see will be able to use the same types of skills. So it should be future-proof in that way and adaptable probably even to scams that haven't been invented yet, because the next email that comes along with a different technique and different topic, we will still be able to apply some of those strategies. And as needed, we may even develop some more. So what other questions? Oh, somebody asked me, what are you going to do that's different to what everybody else is doing? Well, I guess I've probably already answered that particular question by saying what the format of each of my videos is going to be. I will not be scam baiting. I actually have one video from last year that was an accidental scam bait video, and I enjoyed making that. But there are lots and lots of channels that already do scam baiting, and they are far funnier than I'm capable of doing. I would really like to be a funny person and to be able to waste a scammer's time so that they can't be instead using that time to really scam a real person out of their real money and cause them heartache. I would love to be able to do that and at the same time do it in a funny way that entertains others and shares the information with others so that the news gets out there and people are more aware of the different types of scams in that way. But that's not my particular talent, right? I'm not funny in that way as much as I would like to be. So I follow other anti-scam people who are really good at doing that, and I want to join with them in the fight against scams by approaching the topic in a slightly different way. It needs all of us to work together, everybody to work together on this. So we will approach these in different ways. I see myself as kind of the link between the profession, where we have a lot of academic and law enforcement documentation and statistics documentation, which is really not that readable for most people. Most people aren't really interested in reading that, and it's not directly the type of thing that can be applied in a day-to-day kind of life. So I would perhaps be the link between that type of information and how to apply it, strategies in our day-to-day life so that we don't have to become one of those statistics. So that's kind of what I'll be doing a little bit differently. I have enjoyed so far joining in with the anti-scam community as much as I can. Some of them are a little bit wary of me because my profile is a new entrant into this kind of area. And that's as it should be, right? As I said before, people should be a little bit skeptical about who they get their advice from. The other thing is too that there is such a thing called a recovery scam, where somebody claiming to want to help people who have been scammed comes along and says, look, I can help you. I can maybe even get your money back, and all you need to do is pay me a fee, right? And then I'll do that. That's a scam. That's a recovery scam. And that's not what I'm going to be doing. I'm not going to be asking anybody for any money for anything. This is the place that I feel I need to be in order to share the information that I have that is working for me, that has protected me, has protected my family, because I don't want to have learned all of this much and to have these skills die with me, right? I need to share them with you. So there are not a lot of volunteer services that I'm able to participate in at this point in my life, because I don't have the kind of flexibility so that I can turn up and be in the emergency services on, without notice. Although I used to do that when I was younger and it was cool. So this channel is my community service, and it's also the most important part of my life's work. Is only going to have value if it's of use to somebody else. So I'm paying that forward, what's worked for me. I have some questions for you just before we go. I would like you to let me know, please, what you want to see on this channel. So I have a huge list already of topics lined up, but I will prioritize what's important to you. So you just let me know what you want to see, what experiences you've had, what you think is the best way to learn about fraud risks or scam risks, and what types of scams that you think are the biggest risks for ordinary people going about their day-to-day lives. And I think that's one of the most important questions. So please let me know in the comments or through the contact page of the website, and or also that scam show is on Instagram and Facebook. So on Instagram and Twitter. Instagram and Twitter, the handle is That Scam Show. On Facebook, I wasn't allowed to use the word scam in a username, so it is called That Show on YouTube, right? But it will come up. It says That Scam Show uses the same light bulb branding images and all of that sort of thing, and it's linked to me. So it'll say Kerri O'Donnell on there somewhere. And yeah, so you can stay in touch with me in between the videos by any one of those social media platforms or thatscamshow.com. And what else do we have? Do I have any more? No more questions. And there are no questions on the chat on the live stream. If you have some questions about what I stand for, what the channel stands for, please let me know. I know I've rambled today, but now it's done. Now we're live. Now we're launched, and I can just get on with it, I guess. This is the hardest part. So thank you for watching. And I'm going to leave this up. So hopefully people will watch in the replay, and you can leave your comments in the replay section. Yeah, if you're interested and you'd like to see the videos, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and that will help you to see any new videos that I upload. All right, have a good day. I have to figure out how to stop the stream.